Hey, Dan Coccimiglio here with a video on Pete Alonso. Is he coming to the San Francisco Giants? Well, before we get into that, let's thank our sponsor, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group is in Marin. Give them a call. Check them out in the description of this video. All right, everybody, if you could give this channel a like and subscribe, we would really appreciate that. Give this video a like and subscribe. It helps the algorithms. It helps the channel. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, is Pete Alonso coming to the San Francisco Giants? Well, let's get into this. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, would be exciting in a San Francisco Giants uniform, manning first base. But you've got Bryce Eldridge coming, maybe as early as the 25 season. What does that do for Bryce Eldridge? Or can Pete Alonso shift over to become the DH? Well, first, let's take a look at this Giants roster. Pete Alonso, the guy that hits the home runs, puts fans in the seats, love him in the home run derby. Let's take a look at Pete Alonso, shall we? Let's look at his numbers, his career numbers. I've got the wrong one up. Let me go to that later. I had Max Muncy up because I was looking at him last. So I will pull up Pete Alonso for you. But while I'm doing that, Pete Alonso, I don't believe is the right fit for the San Francisco Giants. And I'll tell you why. Because this team needs a lot more than just home runs. They need guys to get on base. Now, we're looking at Pete Alonso here, his career. He's a 249 career batting average, has a OPS of 854 career-wise. Last year dipped to 788. And his OPS plus last year dipped from 134 as career average to 123. He hit 34 homers last year. And if you take a look at his overall home runs, his rookie season as a 24-year-old, he hit 53. But that was 2019, the juice ball year, right? A lot of home runs in 2019. Then we skipped 2020. It was a shortened 60-game season. 21, 37 bombs, then 40, 46 and 23, and then 34 last year. Now, why do I say I don't think Pete Alonso is a good fit for the San Francisco Giants? Well, what does Pete Alonso do a lot? What a lot of power hitters do. Strike out. Okay, let's take a look at the San Francisco Giants lineup. Pete Alonso last year struck out 172 times, or 24.7% of his plate appearances resulted in a strikeout. That's a lot of strikeouts, but it's not too much for a power hitter. It's not bad if you have a few of those guys in the lineup. The Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, he strikes out at about 22% of the time. Teoscar Hernandez, a whopping almost 29% last year. And then, of course, you've got Max Muncy up there in the range of about 25%. So those three guys are the leaders striking out for the LA Dodgers. I didn't actually check Will Smith's stats on that. I'd have to do that. But let's take a look at the Giants lineup and see where he would fit in with this team. Because if you know, the San Francisco Giants the last couple of years have struggled mightily to score runs with runners in scoring position. Why? Because a lot of strikeouts. When there's a man on third base with less than 2 outs, sometimes you just need to hit a fly ball, or even the infield's playing back, 2 strikes on you. Situational baseball, you got to choke up and make sure you put the ball in play to drive that run home. I have no problem with these type of hitters going for it with less than 2 strikes. Look, you got count leverage, 3-1, 2-0, 2-1, whatever. Yes, take your hacks. But when you get 2 strikes on you, you got to adjust. And I think Buster Posey sees that and he's looking for players that put the bat on the ball. They've got to find guys. Listen to the Giants lineup. They just signed Willie Adames, 25.1% strikeout rate last year. He struck out 173 times. Elliot Ramos, in a shortened season, he struck out 135 times, but that was 26%. Mike Yastrzemski, 124 strikeouts, but also 26%, 26.1 to be exact. Matt Chapman, he struck out a rate of 24.4% of the time. Patrick Bailey, he struck out 22.3% of the time. Tyler Fitzgerald, who Buster says wants him to look to have the second base job, he struck out a whopping 31.6% of the time last year. Now, and then we looked at Bailey, 22.3%. He was like 27, 28% his rookie year. So he cut down. Maybe Fitz can cut down, but still, he's not going to cut it down that much. He's going to be, even if he takes 6% off, he's still 25% plus. And then Lamont Wade, who could be your first baseman, 22.4% of the time. So last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their regulars. And then if you throw Grant McCray in, he struck out a crazy amount of time too, in the high 30s, might have even been 40 while he was in there. The only guys that did not have high strikeout rates above 20% for the San Francisco Giants was Jung-Hoo Lee, who was only at 8.2%, and Luis Matos. Luis Matos, 15.4% of the time. This guy needs a job in left field opening day, and you need to let him play because he's one of only two guys that doesn't strike out a ton. Casey Schmidt, who could play the second base position, he cut down on his strikeout rate, but it was still 22%. But better than the guys that are 24, 25, 26% rate. So adding Pete Alonso for me is a no-go. You can't have 8 guys in the lineup, 7 guys in the lineup, all striking out, averaging over 25% when you factor in Fitzgerald's 30+%. So I don't think it's the right fit. Sorry, San Francisco Giants fans. Unless you find other players that put the bat in the ball and stop striking out, it's not a fit. Let me give you an idea of the San Diego Padres, just to tell you a team the Giants are going to have to chase. Because forget trying to catch the Dodgers. Okay, they're not going to catch the Dodgers for the division. But if you want to play for a wild card, you're going to have to beat out San Diego, probably in your division, because there's 3 wild cards, okay? 3, and it's likely 2 of them come from the National League East, with Juan Soto now being a New York Met, and Ronald Acuna coming back, Spencer Strider coming back at some point for the Atlanta Braves, and they've got a great GM, and Anthopoulos there. He will make moves to make the Braves competitive and find a way to get them in the playoffs. And then you got the Philadelphia Phillies. So you got a division winner in the East, and the other 2 are probably wild card. So that means you're fighting against the Padres, against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let me tell you the Padres, their team last year. Listen to the strikeout K rates. Now you're going to be blown away by this. Luis Arias, this is a modern day Tony Gwynn, okay? 3.4% is what he struck out. 3.4%. That's it. I think I'd have to look it up, but I think it was like 18 times all season. Manny Machado, a power hitter, under 20%, 19.3. Jackson Merrill could have been rookie of the year if it wasn't for Paul Skeens, 17%. Fernando Tatis, another power hitter, only 21.9%. Jurickson Profar, 15.1%. Xander Bogaerts, 17%. Jake Cronenworth, 17.9%. You see the idea there? The whole lineup with the exception of Fernando Tatis, struck out less than 20% of the time. That's the difference between winning a one-run game and losing one-run games. The San Francisco Giants have no room, in my opinion, for Pete Alonso. So it's a nice spot. It sounds great. It's like charming. It's electric. Pete Alonso to the San Francisco Giants. The polar bear has arrived. We're going to see our first 30 home run hitter since Barry Bonds in 2007. Not a fit, guys. Not unless you move off of a bunch of other guys, but you're not moving off of Chapman and Adames. So you just signed them to 6 and 7 year contracts. You're not moving off of Patrick Bailey. So where are you going to find guys? You're not moving off of Elliot Ramos. So maybe you find someone at first base like a Cody Bellinger who only struck out 15% of the time. Maybe you look at a Josh Naylor. He's below 20%. There's options out there, but the Giants need to find at least 4 or 5 players in the lineup that have a K rate of under 20%, preferably 15% or lower. That's why I'm advocating for Luis Matos to be the starting left fielder for the San Francisco Giants. Put Jung-Hoo Lee in center field and Elliot Ramos in right. Okay, now you got to go find a second baseman. Maybe it's Casey Schmidt. Tyler Fitzgerald, to me, too much of a K rate to be in there. He's got to cut that way down. You can't have 6, 7 rally killers in your lineup. I think the best spot for Tyler Fitzgerald is to play as a super utility guy. He's in the lineup 5 days a week. Maybe if he's hot, he's 6 days. He's used like Chris Taylor was with the Dodgers when he was in his prime. Chris Taylor would play left field. He'd play center. He'd play shortstop, third base, second base. He was all over the diamond. Actually, Tyler Fitzgerald's even more, I would say, more versatile. He can play first, second, third, and short, and he can play all 3 outfields positions. So that's my role for Tyler Fitzgerald. I'm finding a second baseman with a great glove. That's Casey Schmidt, a great arm to turn the double play. You would have one of the best fielding infields of all of baseball with Casey Schmidt at second, Willie Adames at short, Matt Chapman at third, and then maybe you go out and find a Cody Bellinger, Josh Naylor's type. They got to find somebody that doesn't strike out. I first thought about Paul Goldschmidt as a 1-year option at first base for the Giants. He strikes out way too much as well. You can't have your whole lineup striking out. Yeah, it's nice when you hit the home runs and you get on base and you have a 3-run homer and you win several games, 4-1, 4-2, or you get a couple guys that hit it out and you get 8, 10 runs, but you're going to lose a lot of games scoring 1 run, 2 runs, 0 runs, getting shut out like they did the last couple years because they strike out too much. This team needs to find contact hitters, and that is the job that Buster Posey and Zach Menaeson have to do this offseason. So sorry to disappoint you guys, but I'm out on Pete Alonso. I don't think it's a good fit at all. Tell me what you think down below in the comments. Do you agree with me? Disagree? You think Pete Alonso's a good fit? You think they need to find someone else for first base? Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about the K rates for the Giants. I laid out to you the Padres, some of the Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks. If you look at their K rates, much lower as well. Look, guys, the strikeout era is ending. You got to start putting the ball in play. All this launch angle crap of just going for the home run is getting the Giants nowhere. Worked in 21, but it's not working going forward. How about going and making a trade for Luis Arias? Let him play first base. Team him up, put Luis Arias at first base, Jung-Hoo Lee in center, Luis Matos in left field. Now you have 3 contact hitters in the lineup. Maybe you can find a 4th one, because the left side of the infield, catching, part of the outfield with Ramos, you're just going to have to deal with those Ks. All right, everybody, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like our video again. That really helps us a lot when you give us a like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.